Weather updates, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
The Prime Minister David Cameron is due to address the issue of binge drinking and is expected to suggest the introduction of things like drunk tanks, which are used across Europe and America to help sober people up after a night out. Well, Georgia Foster, who's the author of The Drink Less Mind, is here. Good to see you, Georgia. Tell us a bit about the book, first of all, the Drink Less Mind. Is this something that you'd recommend to Mr Cameron if he hasn't already read it?
Exactly. Well, the reason why I wrote the book, and now it's actually a program you can buy online, is that drinking's not about putting the prices up or the tax. It's an emotional decision. So people drink because they're shy, and the binge drinking is an example of that. People are drinking because they want to conform. They want the camaraderie of drinking, and I think people have hooked into the whole sensation of what it gives them. Social confidence, I believe, is a massive problem, and we use alcohol to deal with that.
OK, so taking that on board, given what we're hearing before it's fully announced from the Prime Minister, drunk tanks, minimum pricing for alcohol, would that do anything to alter that mindset? Because from what you describe, it's very deep-seated within our society.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you've got to look at is that's dealing with the actual symptom, not the cause. Why do people want to drink more than they really want to? Nobody likes a hangover. What is the drive? And it's emotionally based. And that's why my program works, is because if you treat the symptom, you make people feel bad, they actually rebel and want to drink more. If you say to somebody, I'm worried about your drinking, they kind of always want to drink more because they're anxious about it. And anxiety is a real problem with people who drink.
But are you saying it's more then about individuals getting to grips with it, or can society as a whole, can the government have an effect?
Well, they should be looking at it. Anne Milton will not return my calls, the health minister. I'm saying to her, you've got to understand that it is about habit. People drink because when you drink alcohol, that first one may relax you, or it might be the end of your day. It might help you, you think, to feel better, but actually it makes you feel worse because your body gets tolerant to that one glass. And then you need two, and then you need three. And I'm saying a reduction program is completely possible, but you have to change the brain. You have to change the thinking. You have to work on why is that person drinking more than they want to. And the psychology that I'm trained in is that there's this part that we call the inner critic, that negative part that says, you were terrible in that meeting today. You need to drink to calm down. And all of the anxiety and the general stress that we have every day, people then get used to having that alcoholic drink of their stress strategy.
So, under those circumstances, then, things like minimum alcohol pricing, you don't really feel that would work, 45p or so a minimum price per unit. It did work for cigarettes. A lot of people smoke less because it's just too darn expensive.
Well, I'm not sure about that. People, once again, they're addicted to what it gives them. It's a perception. Whereas alcohol has shown to relax you, and that's what people enjoy. It's the sensation that it gives them. So the alcohols, it could be chocolate, for example, but for some people it's alcohol. And I do genuinely, obviously I'm Australian, but I've lived here for 18 years, and Australians are big drinkers as well. So I get the whole culture. But the problem is it's cool to get drunk. I wouldn't want us to go to the extent of America. But I believe most people are not alcoholics. I believe it's their thinking that causes them the drinking issue. And if you get the thinking right, then you get a different response. And that's what I tackle. And that's what we should be looking at. What is going on here is the media is, saying liver damage, etc. But the point is, it's scaremongers. And it makes people, they literally drives them to drink.
Wow.
I've seen it myself, So it's really about saying, let's stop this facade about what's really going on. Is people drink because it's giving them something, and you have to treat that cause.
Well, Georgia, it sounds like you've got a lot to contribute to the debate. Let's hope your calls get returned.
Thank
you. Fairly soon. Georgia Foster there, author of The Drink Less Mind.